Hello, everyone. It is just so good to be with you today. Our guest today, John Eldredge, is a man that I have known about for decades. I've read his books, I've listened to his podcast, I've gleaned his wisdom about faith and marriage and family and purpose and joy and walking with God. We have mutual friends and acquaintances, and you would think that somehow over these years that our paths would have crossed, but they have not. This is the first time ever that I've had the opportunity to engage in a conversation with John. And John, it is an absolute honor to welcome you to our Hope for Brighter Tomorrows community.
Oh, thank you, Kay. Yeah, I don't know how we haven't
I don't
connected
know. I don't
before
know.
now, but I'm glad it's now.
Me too. It must have been for a reason for this moment, but
Yeah.
it would have been fun earlier too. So David has already given us a beautiful introduction to you, but I want you to just tell us about you in your own words. Just a few words. Who is John? What are
Yeah.
you doing? How did you end up here today? All of those
Yeah.
things.
Okay. I been married to Stacy, my wife, 43 years this year. We're celebrating. And I'm really grateful for that and really grateful for her. We have 3 adult sons. We have 8 grandchildren. So we're in the grandparent years, and I call it supporting cast. We're
Yes,
no longer the center of the
it's true.
action. We are supporting cast.
It is true.
I've been a
And a checkbook,
therapist.
usually, I've decided.
Is that I had 2 of my grandsons talking at the table the other night. It was one of their birthday, and the other one was having a birthday in about 2 weeks, and they were talking to each other. The older one said to the younger one, "Mia and Poppy give the best gifts."
Oh man. Oh man. That is the soundtrack to my life right
Right?
there.
I'm
Yes.
like, "It's okay if that's how I'm known. That's great."
I
So
can go down in history with that.
Yeah,
I'm
right?
good with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
is.
I've been a therapist for 35 years and offering love and direction. And I think the deepest thing, like, what do we know about John? I love Jesus
Mm.
deeply. And I love with him healing the brokenhearted. It's been the core of my work all my life. And it's the core of what we do still here in our little shop and the retreats that we do and things. So that's like, you want to know what makes me tick?
Mm.
That's what makes me tick.
Mm. Well, thank you. That's a great summation. I this community, I told you a little bit about us, offline, that this is a community of parents whose children live with mental illness. Most of these parents have been on this caregiving journey for at least 15 years, some of them for up to 3 decades. It's not unusual to have a parent who is in their 80s and their child, is in their 50s. And so it can be a very, very, very long and arduous journey. And I mean, the world itself is that's a whole nother topic, but the world itself is a strange and weird place these days. It takes a lot for any of us to really get through it well. But I think our parents, as we've talked to them, have some extra burdens, some extra layers of pain and suffering. They have a lot of grief over situations that don't change. They deal with homelessness and jail. Their kids get involved with the legal system. There's suicide attempts. Oh my goodness, major depression, schizophrenia. I mean, they live with so much for a very, very, very long time. And a lot of what you have written about, just plug. Here's my notes over one of your books that has meant a lot to me, called Resilient, subtitled "Restoring Your Weary Soul in These Turbulent Times." And I feel like very apropos, even though it was written a few years ago. But our parents not only have to live in these turbulent times like everyone else, but they have all these other extra pains and pressures. And listen, there is no expense paid vacation in sight for many of them. There's not a lot of respite. And so, as we come to what we're talking about today, which is how do we manage the long term stress? How do we how do we survive? Not just survive, but is there even a possibility of thriving? Is there any way that we can flourish even in the middle of all this? And that's why I wanted to talk to you because, and I'm going to give you a question here in a second, but I just want to give this setup um, because I feel like this is a topic that is in a lot of magazines. It's all over the internet of how you can, try this for calm, try this for
Yeah.
peace, try this for
Yep.
a better day, try this to
Yeah.
get your body moving right. There's a lot of good things out there. But you don't focus on that as much as you focus on what is on the inside of us as being our source of strength. And that's why we wanted to talk to you. We felt like you have learned things, you love Jesus deeply, and so there are some not even techniques, but there's some wisdom that you can share with our parents where they are today. And so my first question to you is there really any help for our parents with the struggles and they're facing a very difficult life? Is there really anything that's going to help?
Hmm. I think I first want to just say we recognize how difficult your situation is, and we're not going to try and fix you. We're not going to throw more things for you to do
Yeah.
at you. If anything, maybe we can peel a couple layers off,
Hmm.
and you can maybe breathe more. So, what I want to then offer would be uh, Psalm 73, my personal resources and my heart may fail, but God remains the strength of my heart,
Amen.
and He is my portion forever. So it is the situations that we're talking about today that only that will work in the long run, right? All the other little hacks and things, they can be helpful. I mean, wherever you can get help, thank
Right.
God for it. Okay.
Right.
But in the long run, what Kay and I want to explore together today is for everyone who has invited him, Jesus has taken up residence in the center of your being. And that's the offer. And if that's something that intrigues you, you might listen in on today and wonder about that. But the in the Old Testament, God dwelt with his people in the tabernacle and then in the temple. And then he did something absolutely extraordinary. He then made the human heart his new dwelling place. Okay. Ephesians 3, that Christ may dwell in your hearts. And so the help that we're trying to tap into is already there. And what we want to describe is some ways of kind of like getting into that and letting that get into us. But it's a different model than pulling yourself up one more time, running on your own strength one more time. In the long run, which is what you're talking about the long game of trauma and exhaustion. I think God is the strength of our hearts. It is the provision. I really, truly believe that. And as most of you know, it takes people getting to the end of their rope to tap into that provision, right?
Yeah. And, you talk so much about there is this indwelling presence, that God lives. He's made his home in our hearts if when we receive Jesus as our Savior. But how do we, once you get depleted, once you, honestly, I think sometimes I've talked to a lot of parents, experienced it myself, where there can be a little bit of resentment toward God.
Yes.
And you might know he's there, but he doesn't seem to have done very much lately.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So you have to be honest with those emotions and take the risk of telling him so, right? That so my analogy, one of my tools is a baseball bat and a trash can. So I literally close my garage door and I take a baseball bat to our recycling bin because it's, those robust city things that are really hard to break those. But in that emoting,
Yeah.
right? Because again, that's all stored in there and it's in your body now over years. To be able to say, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? What are you doing? What the heck? Come on. That's good.
Yeah.
That's actually really good stuff because it is opening your soul back up to his presence.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we have to be pretty honest with our true feelings about God. Um, in order to get into the union. So it's the vine and branch relationship is what we're looking to repair. And gang, it's really helpful to know it needs repair.
Hmm.
Many things will pull that vine branch relationship apart, trauma being one of them, long-term suffering being another. And then, just all of the emotions and the heartache that come out of that. So that union needs repair. And
Would you mind just unpacking I know you're referring to John 15, but if somebody doesn't instantly go to that analogy, and would you just unpack that a little bit for
yes,
us?
okay, right. Okay. So the human soul is designed in such a way as to be inhabited by God. We are incomplete beings where we are just not sufficient. And don't we all know it? Like it's hard to love. It's harder to forgive. It's hard to hold on to hope. We alone, and you never were meant to be. Your soul is designed for union with God.
Hmm.
Okay, so not just belief and not just obedience, but an actual shared life, an intertwined existence that and so Jesus in his day, because there were so many vineyards and things around, he looked to that and he said, okay, you see the vine and you see the branch. We could say you see the bush, you see the limb, you see the tree, you see the branch coming off of the tree. That kind of union, that sort of oneness of existence. It's an actual shared life. That is my provision for you. And what's fascinating about vines and branches and trunks and that kind of thing is the leaves and the fruits, the branches out there, they literally receive everything from the trunk.
Huh.
The sap, the nourishment, but also their immune system. It's just fascinating how these things work. So there is a deep provision by the indwelling presence of God within us that you are created for. It's not, you don't need it because you're broken. Everyone needs it. This is how we're made. Cultivating that is another thing, right? And it begins with just what Kay and I are doing right now, which is telling you it's there. It's there. I promise you, he's there. He's down in there. So I will often ask people, where is God when you pray to him? If you just think about that for a minute, where is God when you pray? Is he way up there, right? And you're just trying to kind of lob something up to get his attention.
To get it past the ceiling.
Yes, trying. Or maybe it might be that God, who is with us, Emmanuel, meaning God abiding with us, which is lovely and much better than way, way, way far away. But what we're describing is, I want you to tune into the fact that he is within you as well. And he actually is the strength of your heart. You all have been experiencing this for years. It's the only way you've made it. It is by that. And it's very, very gentle, by the way. God is very gentle with human souls. And his presence is a very gentle thing. And so sometimes we miss it when we're looking for the fireworks or something dramatic to happen. But things like comfort, and solace and peace, they come to us very, very gently. But what I'm suggesting is we learn to pay attention and draw upon it from within rather than trying to get heaven's attention way out there.
Yeah. Another term that you use, or one that's, can be familiar to people, but is so helpful, I think, when we really grab onto it, is that Jesus, he's the river of life.
Mm.
And so talk to us a little about, you use that term. I also want you to talk about what you mean when you say that we need to be amphibians.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
because I think that all of that is are not necessarily things that we as parents of kids, when we're trying to get a doctor appointment, or they're in and out of treatment facility and we can't even get the doctor to talk to us because they're
Mhm.
adults. And so our kids, and then they come home for a day or two and then they're back on the street, or they leave because they don't want it. It feels difficult to access that quiet work of God.
Yes,
And
yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because chaos,
is the norm for us.
yeah, chaos is immensely distracting, right? It's just by its nature. So I'm going to veer us off for a
Sure.
second, and let's talk first about the practice of benevolent detachment.
Great. I had that written down. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Okay, good. Thank you. I think it'd be good to start there, because it's the first step of getting a little bit of distance from the chaos. You can't end the chaos, and you're in it because you care and you love. So, but there is an invitation to offload the burden every day. There is an invitation to do that. So, for example, when Jesus says, "Take my yoke upon you, my yoke is easy, my burden is light." I want to teach you a new way of doing life. You're like, easy and light, it does not feel like it. And then in the book of First Peter, Peter's letter to the church, he says, "Here's what I want you to do. I want you to cast your cares upon the Lord because he cares for you." So the practice, what we call it benevolent detachment. Benevolent because you're not doing it in cynicism, you're not doing it in resentment, you're not doing it in hatred or anger, although those things do show up. Um, it is actually something that's done in love, particularly with adult children. There is a invitation every day to try the practice of, I release this to you, God. I release this to you. I can't solve it. I can't fix it. I'm gonna love. I'm gonna try and do what I can, but I release this to you. I release this to you. Stacy and I do this every single bedtime.
Wow.
When we go to bed at night, we just go, Lord, you can have it all. Like all those difficult conversations today, all those needs that still haven't been met, all that, we just release that to you tonight. I give it over, and you can kind of picture yourself offloading it, right, from your soul, and just giving it over to God, or just dump it on the ground and let him pick it up.
Yeah.
But benevolent attachment, I give this to you, I give this to you, I give this to you. It will allow us to get to the help that we're after, because the resident help is in there.
Mm.
But while we're like this,
Yeah.
in the tension and the heartache and the chaos, it's hard to receive the help.
Yes.
Yeah. And so if we can learn that simple practice, and you don't have to feel different, you just go, no, in this moment, I give this to you. I release our daughter. I release the police. I release what happened today. I give that to you. I cannot carry that. And you're invited to release it. You are invited to lay that down. And then I know, like the next hour, it's all going to come rushing back in. That's okay.
Right. Right.
I'm not asking you to do this for a lifetime.
Yeah.
I'm asking you to do it for 60 seconds.
Mm.
Okay. Just 60 seconds of, I give this to you. I give this to you. I pull out. I eject. If for a moment
Right.
of just to reset, right? And stabilize and regulate myself. I give it to you. So I want to start with that practice because it is immensely helpful and you can do it anywhere, anytime for 60 seconds. Like you can do that.
It has been so helpful for me. I was introduced to that very specific practice, that very specific habit, that very specific release. When I read your book and when I downloaded, we'll talk about that, your the pause app and different things that have been so helpful. But even as you were saying it now here, and even though I was not consciously doing it, my body was doing it because I have begun to do that many, many, many times throughout a day. And so even as you said it, I found myself going, and just even in my body, relaxing,
Yes.
and giving. And like you said, we can't do it once, and it's not a once and done thing. It is not something you release your family, your kid, your struggle, all that, the chaos, and it's over. It really is on and on. But what happens even in those little tiny breaths, those
Yep.
tiny pauses, it does something physically,
Mm-hmm.
it does something mentally and emotionally, and it does something spiritually. It is
Yeah.
so simple.
Yep.
It is not complex.
Yep.
But that practice of releasing, because I know from the 20 years that my son lived with serious mental illness before he died, I often was consumed, completely consumed
Mm-hmm.
with him and his chaos and what was going to be next, and trying to project into the future. What would we do with this? What would we do with this? What would we do in this situation? And so I felt like I just panted. That was all the breathing I did, was
Yep.
just, it was
Yep.
all up here in the top of my chest because it was from crisis to crisis to chaos
Yep.
to chaos. And that simple release has been life-changing for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm so glad you can give support to that because it does work. It is possible. Again, you can do it for 60 seconds.
Right.
And if we'll talk about the pause app, but if it's associated with certain music or
Mm,
with a body posture, like if you just lay your hands down on the table, your
yeah.
body gets into a memory, which is what was happening to you right there.
Yeah.
You now have a sense memory.
Yeah.
Yes, so that when you begin to practice it, your body's like, "Oh, I'm there.
Yeah.
Thank thank you. I'm
I'll
there.
take that. I'll
Yep,
take that moment.
yep.
I'll take that moment.
I can
Yes.
do this right now.
Yeah.
I can do it for a moment." Yeah.
Well, so you were saying that the starting with that benevolent attachment
Oh, yeah,
is
yeah,
the
yeah.
place to
Yes,
begin
okay.
all of this.
Yeah, because then you were asking about, for example, the river of life and amphibians. Okay,
Yeah.
so just like your soul was designed for union with God, actual union, not just obedience or worship or service, but an actual union, a shared life. You need it. We all, every single human being. It's not because we're broken, it's because it's how we're made.
Yeah.
So in the same way, God made us amphibians. Okay, so we receive a lot of care and a lot of help from natural things, from the sunshine coming through the window in the morning, a good cup of coffee, a quick chat with a friend. Those are all what I call natural graces. They're natural grace. They're provision of God. And again, it could be music, it could be your garden, right? That there's care and solace and sustenance and hope coming to us through that phone call, coming to us through that music or that cup of coffee. And I think we should take advantage of those natural graces when we can. Turn
That's right.
something beautiful on, look at something beautiful on your phone. Yeah. But you are also a spiritual being and you are enabled to draw upon the resources that in the unseen realm, what we would call them supernatural resources. But for example, just the love of God. You don't see it. It's not something you can test in a laboratory,
Right.
but it's there and it's something we can draw upon. So to be amphibians is to learn to enjoy both the natural graces, right? That good cup of coffee. I mean, sometimes a chocolate chip cookie will do it, folks. if that
Absolutely.
if that's what gets you through the afternoon,
Yes.
you grab that cookie.
Yeah.
Uh, those are natural graces and provision of God to us in this world, but there are also supernatural things like His love, His presence. So, for example, if you take an actual amphibian, a frog, and you keep it only in water, it will die. If you keep it only on land in a terrarium, it will die. You have to give it an environment where it's able to go back and forth between them. Okay. And we just haven't been trained very well in the art of moving back and forth between, thank you for my garden, thank you for this cup of coffee, and I also receive the provisions of the kingdom of God, which they're made available to us, like His love, like His presence. And then you were describing the river of life. So can I riff
Yes,
on that a
please.
little
Yeah,
bit? Okay.
please, please.
All right. So for example, we hear things like this, and because we are late moderns, we've all been educated in the Enlightenment view of reality. Um, we read these passages or we hear these promises, and we allegorize them. We make them metaphors, but they're realities.
Mm.
That God is not a metaphor. God's real. Jesus is real.
Yeah.
He's got a body. He's still same guy, same personality. He's
Yeah.
real. Okay. So is the river of life, for example.
Mm.
And the river of life is an unending source of life that flows from God to anyone in His created world that wants it. And to allow the river of life. Now, it's very helpful for any human being. It is very helpful in trauma because I will literally pray. I ask for the river of life to wash my trauma,
Mm.
to cleanse and wash my trauma, because I need a supernatural help. I just can't get to the gym. I can't get to the other things, right? Can't get to my therapist, but I can call upon this. I can call upon the river of life to flow through me. And this is promised to you in John chapter 7, the Gospel of John. It's meant to flow from your inmost being through you. And another grace, because we're asking for things you can call upon in the moment,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
If it's not doable, it's not helpful.
Right.
Yeah, can't get to a retreat. Yeah. So these are things we can call upon in the moment. Another one would be the breath of life. So the scriptures describe that in the beginning, when God created humanity, it says He breathed into us the breath of life. Well, we need that more than once.
Yeah.
And when I'm feeling the death, when I am feeling that, everybody knows that darkness, that heaviness, that it feels almost like a barrenness. I ask for the breath of life to fill me again. And again, these are just simple moments. These are 10-second prayers.
Yeah.
These breath of God, breath of life. Would you breathe into me again? And it happens
Mhm.
because it's there. It's not just a poetic idea.
Right.
It's available to us to
Yes.
draw upon, because at this point, human effort's not going to do it. We all know that. Like we're way beyond pulling this off by ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that if we happen to, like, I happen to grow up in the church, not everybody in our community did, but I did grow up in the church, and so I've been hearing, much about how to develop my relationship with God for my whole life.
Mhm.
And there is a place for, I think, some pretty strong habits, if you will. Like, there's value in being in God's word every day.
Oh,
There
yeah.
is value in set aside time to
Yep.
pray. There is value in even thinking about meditating on scripture and asking God to change me, and change my heart, make me more like Jesus. Practicing all there's real value in that, memorizing scripture, all those
Mhm.
things. But what you're talking about are the kinds of things that are accessible regardless of what else is happening. You could be in the very worst day possible
Yep.
with your child,
Yep.
and everything feels hopeless. There is no hope, really. It's just you're going to be stuck in this loop. Your child does this, and then this happens, and then this happens, and it's rinse, repeat, and start over. You're going to be in the same place again and again. And those kind of habits may be hard to find a place in a day. But what
Yep.
you're saying is, no, in this moment,
Yep.
in the immediacy of my need,
Yep.
in the immediacy of, I don't have my Bible's in the other room and I can't go get it, or I'm out of but the immediacy of that connection. What I hear you saying is that connection
Yes,
with God,
that's right.
because it's there,
Yeah.
and never leaves.
Yeah, that's right.
Even
Yeah.
though there are times it does feel like even God has left.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Even
Yes.
God has left the building.
Yep. It can feel like that, but
Yeah,
it's not true.
yeah.
It's
Talk to
not.
us about that, because that can many of the parents have told us with tears that they got angry at God X amount of years ago because he didn't heal their child.
Mm,
Their heart
mm,
felt prayers, the cries of their heart that God would heal their child, that God would provide
mhm,
this. And that has not happened to this point. And some of them will say, I got angry and God and I don't really talk anymore.
mhm,
And they are as barren spiritually as
mhm,
dry, utterly,
mhm,
utterly
mhm,
dry. But
mhm,
you're talking about ways to bring
mhm.
that river, that
Yep.
breath,
Yep.
all of that into
Yep.
more of a,
Yep. An
accessible. It's
existential.
accessible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Absolutely. Yep. Well, friends, you will need to come to a place where you have to forgive God.
Mm,
You may need to forgive Jesus
mm,
for what feels like failure, abandonment, betrayal.
mm.
If you don't forgive him, it will be hard to recover the union that allows these graces to flow to you.
Wow.
Okay. So I know that, some of you that might like really throw you, theologically or something, but we're talking emotionally.
Yeah.
Emotionally, we need to forgive God. And it absolutely threw me the first time he said that to me. I was really upset. We've gone through a whole lot of our own share of heartache, um, and and massive loss, and I was hurt and angry and trying to find my way through. And Jesus said very kindly to me one day in prayer, he said, "You need to forgive me."
Wow.
And I'm like, "That's okay?" Like,
Yeah.
because I'm really mad at you. And it was the kindest, gentlest thing for him to say because it opened back up. I said, I do. I do. I, I do forgive you. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't like it,
Yeah.
but I do forgive you. I do forgive you. And it opened back up the channel for the recovery. Okay. Now let me give you another crazy sounding one. You think that's weird. You've seen even dandelions will do this. The dandelions will close up overnight and the frost is all around them. And then when the sun comes back out, right, they'll open up again. It's just so lovely because the human soul is exactly like that. and like a sea anemone, we close up. And what I want to suggest now, we're all giving these simple steps back to the help. Okay. God is the strength of my heart.
Yeah.
We're trying to get that back.
Yeah.
Forgiving him, releasing people and things, releasing outcomes are steps to get back to that. Okay. Here's another one. I love you here. I love you now. I love you here. And by here, I mean in your grief.
Yeah.
In your pain. Not for it.
Yeah.
Not for it. That's
Right.
weird.
Right.
He doesn't like your pain any more than you do. Okay. But I love you here. Well, that is so counterintuitive. But I will tell you, it opens the soul back up to the presence of God. Because like a flower, you've done this. Like,
Yeah.
you're the sea anemone
Yeah.
that's pulled in. And the thing that opens the soul back up to the breath of God and to the river of his life flowing through us is, I love you. I love you. And this is one of those practices that you don't need to go to a retreat. You don't need to go find a really good podcast. You just go, in this moment, I love you here. I love you here. Because what you are doing is you are opening up that particular part of your soul, which is in pain, to the presence of God. I love you here. I love you now. I love you in this. So in my grief, I love you. I love you. It's like that flower's opening back up a little bit to let the warmth of the sun in. And then as the warmth of the sun gets in, then you find, oh, I actually do love you. I really actually do love you, and you do love me. And I sense that gentle presence, and I sense your help.
Yeah. Just taking that all in.
Yeah.
Because I do have experienced both in my own life and hearing the stories of others. It's so common to this is not what many of us have heard in church or hear from church people. Dare we venture there? Because this feels, well, like you said, not only counterintuitive, but a little bit blasphemous.
I know.
Like I'm waiting for the lightning bolt to
I
come.
know. Yeah.
I mean, I know from my own walk with God that is not how he responds, but it does feel it's not the messages that we often receive.
Right.
Until you read the Psalms, like you said, or Jesus, in the garden, or some of the other great saints that God highlights, but it just feels a little scary. I'm sure some of our parents are going to have to think about that one, particularly if they were raised. Yeah.
They can feel their
but they're
soul.
thinking this is dangerous.
No.
This
There's
guy's
two
talking
things.
dangerous stuff.
I know. But you can also feel your soul gravitating towards it.
Yes.
Because that actually sounds like relief.
Yeah.
That sounds like the possibility of life.
Yes.
And so while your mind is going, your heart is going, oh my gosh, I need that so much. Yeah.
You also talk about, and this may be, this may tie right into it. You talk about the three, layers, of our being. And, so maybe as we get closer to closing here, you might, if that feels like that fits in with where you're already going.
Sure. Yeah. So the things that were like, even just Brother Lawrence is beautiful. The Carmelite friar, he wrote a book called Practicing the Presence of God. It's just a lovely title.
Yeah.
Because it lets you know, it's like riding a bike.
Yes.
It's like playing an instrument. It's a little clunky at first. So your being has a shallows, a midlands, and a depths to your being. Okay. And the shallows is just a chaos of life. It's your Instagram. It's, I forgot to put the socks in the dryer. It's, what are we going to have for dinner? I don't know that I can do another frozen pizza. It's this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The shallows is usually pretty chaotic, by the way. It's 1,000 thoughts in a day, just, you know. And then deeper down in there, people will talk about their heartache, their hopes, their dreams. Now that's coming from a deeper place in you. I call that the Midlands. Down in there is the treasured moments of your life and the worst moments of your life. That they reside here in the Midlands. But down even deeper than that, because this is true of your created being. Down in there is faith and hope and love. Down in the depths is where love resides.
Mm.
Okay? Down in the depths is where hope resides. It's right way down deep in us. And it's where God tends to hang out. He doesn't hang out in the shallows kind of thing. He doesn't like the chaos any more than you do. He tends to reside down in the deeper places of your being.
Yeah.
Why is this helpful to know? Well, first off, because when you're in this, it can feel like he's gone.
Yeah.
No, you're just in the chaos. He hasn't left. He's still right down in there. Okay. Learning to practice benevolent detachment. I let it go. I let it go. I eject.
Yeah.
For 60 seconds. I eject. Oh, there you are.
Mm.
Like, it's amazing how quickly you go, oh, because you just drop down out of the madness. You drop down into the deeper places in you, and there he is. And now you can experience his comfort or his love. And again, it takes a little practice, 60 seconds at a time. But then you go, oh my goodness, you are here. And in Psalm 73 is true. You are the strength of my heart.
It sounds to me like as I've read that and then thought about it and then just hearing you articulate it, that all of us we live in the shallows. That's our daily. You can't not live in the shallows and not be in a monastery. I mean, if you're outside of a monastery, you're in the shallows all the time. We all are.
Yep.
And for us with our kids and their needs, that can consume a lot of our lives. And then maybe when it gets quiet, head hits the pillow, you might have some of those experiences of the heartache, feeling the grief, feeling the disappointment that life is so hard, not just for you, but for your child. I mean, we feel such deep compassion for what our kids are suffering. And that's in that place. Am I right in thinking that's kind of where some of maybe the anger or the resentment or the feeling, not only the noise feels like God isn't there in the noise, but he's also in those Midlands where you're starting to feel some of your emotions.
Yep.
And it can all get kind of dammed up right there.
Yep.
And what you've been saying about how to release that, how to get into the depths, maybe
Yep.
a little more, and that's where we then find that comfort, because that's where we do encounter,
Yes.
his arms of love around us, and where
Yeah.
hope can be reborn. Is
Yeah.
that the way you would phrase it?
Yeah.
Is that the way you see it?
That's good. That's really good. And when you read some of the really beautiful people down through the ages, the saints, like a John of the Cross, their lives were actually really hard.
Yeah.
But they found this to be true. They found, and the old saints would call it consolation. They found that care is the word I would use now. They found the care of God to be true, even in the midst of really awful, like imprisonment, torture, horrible physical, unresolved suffering, tuberculosis and things that were just irresolvable in their day. They found this to be true. And we can draw upon hope on that to go, you know what, there are people who have walked this really tough road before us, and they found these things to be true.
I would affirm that from my own experiences with God. I have found the consolation of God to be true. And the only thing that allows
Yep.
me to sit here in this chair today.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
No other way.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
other way. Yeah. Casey made me cry. But it's true. I do affirm that I have experienced that. It's not just
Mm,
theoretical. It's not just,
mm,
something you
mm,
read in a book. It is
mm,
when you experience the consolation of God, it
mm,
does give
mm,
you the strength
mm,
that you need
mm.
to
Yeah.
get through every day no matter what it holds. As we close today, would you pray
Mm,
for our moms
mm,
and our dads? And, yeah, would you just
mm,
pray a blessing
mm.
for them?
I will. What I'm inviting together. So we're going to do this together. Um, I love you here. I love you now. I love you in this. I love you in my grief. Healer of broken hearts, catch me.
Mm.
I need you to catch me, catch my heart, catch my soul. Healer of broken hearts, I invite you into my broken heart to heal my broken heart through union with you. Healer of broken hearts, I invite you in, be the strength of my heart. Amen.
Mm. Thank you, John. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. It's unforgettable.
You're
Very, very
welcome.
special.
It's an honor and a delight to be here. I'm so glad you asked.
Thank you. We'll see you all next time, everyone.